watching X-Men Omni with Justin and John. And their good friend, Hank.
Hell yeah. Hell yes. Welcome back, gang. The Omnibus debate discussion review continues. We are deep into some New Mutants territory. We have found the Bill Sienkiewicz promised land. We've arrived. Things are happening. It is pretty darn amazing. Welcome back. And yeah, tonight we are going to continue our journey into the world of Bill S. and explore maybe a little downtime with our New Mutants. And when I say we, I mean this guy,
Hey,
Justin
Bub.
No Good Comics.
Hey, Bub. I'm ready to talk comics, Bub.
I saw a video recently on the voice actor from the animated show explaining how he got the gig and how he went into it going like, is this about animals? Like, am I playing an animal? Who's the saber tooth that I'm talking to here? And he's like, is this anthropomorphic? Is there like a deer also that's going to come in? Like, he had no clue what he was reading. And he just went right into like, Bub, I'm going to cut you up.
And it worked.
All right. They were like, and they all just were like, that's the guy. Sign that guy up.
I love it. Well, that's what I'm going for. So hopefully they see this.
Crushed
video.
it. Nailed it.
for the next season.
How you doing, sir? Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, man. Happy Tuesday. Getting into some more X-Men, or in this case, more New Mutants. Got my Omnibus Bible with me here. Ready to break down another one. Bill Sienkiewicz, greatness. Just, yeah. This has been awesome. Bit of a run here. Some of these issues we've been diving into.
We had 3 issues in a row where basically the entire panel was like 10 out of 10. Let's just 10 out of 10 these. I mean, Demon Bear kicked it off in wild style.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm ready with Truth Juice tonight. We'll see how well this issue goes over with the crowd. We have a special guest with us tonight. We got Side Quest himself. Eric, what is going on?
You don't want to go to battle. You want to bite of the sandwich, right? You don't want to go fight.
Sandwich
we're recording. We're recording.
Now I want a sandwich. Now I'm hungry. Dang it.
A little hankering. There you go. Oh, he's just protein. Get the protein. That's the key.
Get some energy up.
I love it. And he's got.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good with a mouthful right now.
Nice.
So, as always, if you guys are unfamiliar, if this is the first time checking in, Justin's links and Eric's links, they're all down below. You can follow them on Instagram, follow them on YouTube, and make sure that you hit the notification bell because we're on Justin's channel next week to continue the story as we move through this omnibus. Right. Let's jump into the chat, say hello to some friends as we get the show rolling, and let Eric chew his food. About 3 hours ago, we had our man James Las Cruces in the chat, early tailgating.
Always.
I'm going to be seeing Ruben Guzman tomorrow. It's good to see you in the chat, White Tiger. Yes. I got a new channel member. We got Derek Neiman in the chat. Much appreciated, Derek. Let me throw you some joyful videos here. I appreciate you, sir. Much appreciated, sir. And that means Derek is entered because Saturday morning I'm going to spin the wheel and give away this month's giveaway package. So, hey, Derek is in the running now. Congrats, Derek. Nice. And we got Big Nasty in the chat. What's going on? Happy to see you, sir.
Big Nasty.
We got Ryan Magic Lasso. He is now 9. Not to spoil his video he dropped earlier today. He's just 9 issues away from completing the entire volume 1 of Justice League of America.
Wow.
Nice.
9 books, holy man.
Smokes.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Congrats, Ryan.
Eric's in the chat as well. You can just click that name, jump over to his channel, check him out.
Yeah. I couldn't resist.
We got Matt and Clemson going in the chat. What's going on, Matt?
Matt.
Good to see you, sir. We got Adam makes stuff up, neighbor to the north. What's going on, Adam? Let's see. We got Candice Barbosa. Her episode's hopefully coming up here soon. I know she's due to join us here at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And this knucklehead's in the chat. He's dropping that wrench. You better be careful. He's throwing it around.
I don't know what I'm doing.
If this was a Green Lantern show, we'd say, hell yeah. Conlon, another one of my channel members in the chat. What's going on? Conlon Comics. His episode's coming up here soon. Let's see who else we got. Bobby's in the chat saying, Station. What's going on, Bobby?
Station Bobby.
Appreciate you, sir. He shot that video with Claremont at the beginning of the show, as we didn't know. So appreciate him for doing that.
That's right. That's right.
I never meet him, but everybody else meets him. I appreciate that. What's going on, JP? JP's in the chat. I know he's excited for Super Bowl Sunday next weekend. He's breathing a little easier after that game this last Sunday.
Amen, Bobby.
Yep. Serge is in the chat. Hello, Serge. Happy Tuesday to you.
All right.
My man Donnie's in the chat. What's going on, Donnie? He's been doing great videos and live streams on music lately. I've been popping in there to learn some things about some songs. I appreciate you, Master Donnie. And let's see, did I miss anybody? I think I'm almost caught up. And Kenneth Bird. What's going on, Kenneth? Happy Tuesday, Kenneth. I hope things are going well in your world. Yeah, right. So tonight we are continuing our journey through Chris Claremont's original run and working through New Mutants, issue 21, The Slumber Party tonight. Now, but let's get to know our man, Eric. He's got the raw copy right there.
Nice.
Too bad you guys can't just smell the old.
I think I own this one. I don't have any of the Demon Bear, but I think I have this one.
I actually, it was a couple of years ago. I went out. I got into New Mutants towards the tail end, like Cable, Deadpool, and stuff. But I recently, it was probably a year ago, I finished the full run. I went and got the full run.
Dang, nice.
Chased them down. I kind of fell into some nice bundles. Like I got 1 through 20 in a bundle. Nice. And then I had my store had a bunch and they had on sale. So I was grabbing them there. So the 20s, that was kind of the hard ones to find. And this was one of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say the all the Sienkiewicz stuff.
Yeah. And that's a nice newsstand, Eric. Yeah. And also shout out to our buddy Cheddar Comics. Eric, you saw Cheddar selling the
oh my goodness,
the set that he had of this, right? Were you on that the other night, this past Thursday or last Thursday?
I was triggered a little bit. I was like, ooh, oh wait a second, I
the only reason I didn't buy it is because there wasn't enough newsstands in there. I'm trying to get it on newsstand, okay. But I was like, it was like a $2,
See, I don't even concern myself with that. I just want to, as long as the cover is still on there, I'm kind of okay with buying a book.
I just like the challenge, I just like the extra. Look, I look, I'm like, oh, it's not that. I gotta wait for the right
I'm getting too old to challenge myself that way. I'm like, I just love, if I see $1 bin, I'm going through it. That's a good cheap one for me.
Oh man, and a lot of these issues are in there.
Yeah, for New Mutants. I mean,
very affordable.
I think some of the beginning you won't see, some of his stuff you won't see in there, and then of course the Rob Liefeld age
and the chunk right before Liefeld. That there's a big chunk between Sienkiewicz and Liefeld that you can kind of get for a good price.
I mean, this is a weird title because it seems like a lot of the series was like crossovers. Whatever crossover was going on, they threw a couple issues of the New Mutants in there just to be part of it, but it never really affected the team that much. So but yeah,
awesome. Donnie says he managed to acquire the full run by picking up random packs, and sometimes he got duplicates, but that's the journey. That's the journey. Then let's kick it off with, if you got into the New Mutants later, kind of like I did, Cable or Deadpool, who's your guy?
Cable. And I think just because it was first, and the fact that I was a huge X Factor fan at that time, like when X Factor started, I was in love with it. That was my in to the X-Men because it was current. I couldn't afford the old stuff. So yeah, knowing the fact that he was Nathan Summers is just like it was that in, So I always thought that was became, it's like I remember when he was a baby, this was what happened.
Right. No, I'm totally with you. That was definitely how I came into it. And I thought he was just a cool, different kind of leader for the team that wasn't like, the Boy Scout, or he wasn't the professor. It was just like, no, you're going to be soldiers and I'm going to train you and this is going to get violent.
Yeah. I was actually the only thing I'm surprised about Cable is that he wasn't made to have like the cigar, he seems like that kind of character, kind of like Nick Fury in a way. So
yeah, he's very much in keeping with like a Logan in that way. But at the same time, then you're like, oh, he's from the future. They didn't have tobacco anymore. That just doesn't exist anymore. Okay, then for you, are you a Xavier leading the New Mutants, or are you a Cable leading the New Mutants?
Can I answer with a third choice?
Yeah. Yes, please.
I'm a Magneto leading the New Mutants guy.
Oh, nice.
So that's probably when I got interest in it, because that was at that time where they were doing that shift with Magneto of making him the headmaster and kind of guiding them. And,
and
he was
a cameo tonight. There's a cameo tonight. If people aren't watching, they might miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought that was a good, the title was a good means for him to do that. I mean, it's Chris Claremont. That's what he saw for Magneto. And
for sure.
I'm not going to get into the 90s when they flipped and all that stuff. But it was a good way to get him, not just all of a sudden he's a good guy. No, he was appearing in this. He was kind of guiding them and stuff. And it was totally a different way than what Xavier did too.
Oh, totally.
And I was cool with that, you know?
And then when it comes to like these teams, do you prefer them as kids, or do you like it that they grow up into adults? Because I can see both sides to that.
Boy, that's a tough one. Because I started when they were adults, but they were kind of like your dumb 20-something-year-old adults, just getting into trouble because they're
Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Yeah, they're kind of reacting. But then again, when they were kids, they were kind of just jumping into it too.
Right.
I mean, rereading this issue and some of the other issues that you guys have been featuring, it's like I forgot how well Chris wrote them as kids. Because I'm like, okay, Chris was probably in his 30s at that time,
At
and
least, yeah, for sure.
And he's writing kids how he thought they were in a way, but it kind of worked because they are all kind of, numbnuts in a way that some of the troubles they got into were kind of their own making because they were just impulsive.
Sure.
But it fits. They're kids. That's what kids do. So, I don't know. What?
I get both sides because I've been especially enjoying reading this again with Justin. Is this like seeing them screw up and struggle and piece it together? And
kids is what I'm leaning towards, though, because it's different. It's very different for the X world because all the other teams we've had at that time were all adults. So it was since the 60s when we kind of saw the dumb kids. So
it's Claremont's chance to do it from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
To do that, revisit that beginning. Serge was asking, like, is it a series that starts off slow? Can it get hard? I mean, I think there's no run of 100 issues where that's pretty like consistent. That's going to have like that level. I think what I like about it, and Justin, you can answer too. Like, is it has phases,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I would say this is like a ton of fun straight through. Like you're just getting different aspects of the team, and it takes its time as far as the characters and stuff like that. So I think, just start from the beginning if you are diving in for the first time.
Sure. JP says, is Cable the least sucky Summers?
No,
out of here,
they all suck, he says.
We don't shame Cable with the same brush that we paint Nate Summers and some of those other crazy characters. I'm not sure, Candace, what issue is the one where Magneto takes over. It's not in this omnibus, but we will eventually get there. Maybe
I think it's in the 30s. Like,
That's
it's somewhere in the 30s. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's. I guess one last question. Do you have a favorite from these a character from this original crew of students?
Man, that's a tough one too. I always liked Sunspot because I liked his power set, but I didn't like him. I thought he was kind of a jerk in a way. But I understand he was a rich, spoiled guy, so he's kind of out of his element. He's just being who he is. Now I do like how he changed over time. But then I also always liked Rain because I like the whole she's a werewolf basically. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. The stuff with Sunspot in X-Men Red in the last couple of years that was really great. I really liked the way they used him. That arena fight was just badass. Well, awesome. Again, Eric's link is down below, so you guys can subscribe. You can follow him on Instagram as well, and Justin's stuff for next week down there to be sure to be there so that next week we're all crowded in together.
And technically, I think we're off next week.
Oh, we're off next week. I'm
It's
sorry.
going to be
It's my
back in
dad's
2 weeks,
birthday
just to
next
clarify.
Tuesday, and I'm going
the
out to dinner
11th.
with my dad. So we're
So, yeah.
off next week. My bad.
February 11th, and we'll be back with chat. Just so you guys know.
Yes, sorry, my bad. I forgot. Dad's birthday. Got to burn that into my brain. And then stick around to the end. We're going to offer trivia questions about last week's show, so that you can then get on the wheel and win some prizes. So stick to the end for that. But let's dive back into the New Mutants issue number 21. Slumber Party, and this cover, and with the fun corner box art going on here. Justin, what are your thoughts going on now that Bill is in full swing?
Yeah, I mean, this is just pure iconic New Mutants at this point. The pose, they all are doing their thing the way we know them as. Earlier we didn't fully get this because Amaro wasn't like in the picture yet, and when I say earlier, I guess like that original, the first couple issues that we had kind of broken down. So to have them solidified there, drawn out the way that they are, I love it. And this is, I mean, the other thing too, I mean, this is the cover of the Omnibus, which has kind of been drilled into my brain at this point, just from always seeing, and I loved it. I mean, this is just fantastic, So, that there's that, and then the other side is the Bob McLeod stuff. But
the issue one,
it's just such a great cover overall. And I think, again, like, I mean, if I could get a poster of this, I would absolutely do so. One thing that I find funny that we were just talking about is, we were backstage, we were kind of talking about, things we minded or didn't like about when kids or anybody draws on a comic book from back in the day. And one thing I mentioned was that, little Bobby will write Bobby's name or whatever. But in this case, the actual top of the panels, you guys see the pricing changed to $1, and that's actually real. That's not.
They made sure you noticed it too.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
So I am curious. Like, I feel like this also. I mean, there's a lot of special things about this book, but I also wonder if this is something from a cost perspective for Marvel that changed the game, or that things were being adjusted. Now, granted, this is a double feature, technically double-sized issues they call it, so it might have just been for that. But I know that throughout these years, things, the 25 cents goes to 35 cents and so on and so forth. And so I'm just curious if maybe this will, and I don't know if any of you guys know that, or if anybody in the chat, but if this $1,
I don't know if this launched the $1 increase, or if it was just for the double size. That'd be maybe we'll find out next time when the price of the next issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Bobby, I will definitely do that. I appreciate you, sir, giving best wishes to to my dad. And Rod the Rican, one of my wrenches, is in the chat. I appreciate you, Rod. He's gonna click the link and subscribe to some homies that are new in the chat. I appreciate that. What about you, Eric? What are your thoughts on this Bill Sienkiewicz cover?
This, I mean, with that bright red New Mutants title, it really pops out. And this is very iconic New Mutants, this time period. I mean, I think back, and I was getting the X-Men at this time. X Factor, I think, was starting to come out at this time, and shortly after this, actually. But just, I remember seeing this, and it really popped out on the rack compared to what else was there. There was like Conan and some of the other early 80s comics, but this one being a painting on a cover was so different for its time, and to see the entire team was really cool. And I think this shot really shows all their personality too. Sunspot never takes himself seriously. Sam's kind of being Mr. Serious, and Liliana's having fun. She's always having fun, right? And so it just kind of really makes me feel like this is a kind of snapshot of the team, the characters.
Sure.
So, very cool, and just bright red slumber party. Granted, it kind of reminds me of a horror movie a little bit.
It gives that Nightmare on Elm Street vibe.
Definitely.
No, great points. And and to Bobby's point, that Warlock in the corner box drawn so cool. Whether you call this the first appearance or the issue we had previous where they show him, obviously these are key issues for Warlock fans. I agree with everything you guys are saying. This is a fun cover, really cool, and stands apart for sure. So let's get into the book. First, we have the hills in and around Xavier's mansion, and a bunch of strange dark figures approaching. There's a lot of funny little chatter going on, an intense knocking, a creaking door. It's very much like a haunted mansion thing, but then when we get inside, slumber party time. The whole crew of girls on the team are having a blast, except maybe Rain, who you can kind of see in the middle there, clutching her shirt to her body. But there's pillow fights, there's streamers, there's popcorn, there's People magazine apparently, and they're just having a girls' night slumber party sleepover. What were your thoughts, Justin, when we dive into the mansion with the girls' night?
Yeah, so much that I like about this entrance. So first, again, kind of dark vibes, as Eric was saying. You turn this first page and you see these eyes in the shadow, and you're like, what's going on here? Like, there's these people are just kind of talking to each other, and you don't. For a second, you're like, is this like going to be an attack? Are these villains? Like, what exactly is happening? So I think they do a really good job of that, just from hiding them in the shadows. And then, the knock on the door comes, and of course it's a celebration. The other thing that I love now, the spread page that we get there might be my favorite of this, or one of my favorites of this season of what we've been breaking down for this omnibus. But on top of that, what I love most about it is that it's Louise Simonson is referenced in this. Wheezy. If you guys don't know, Wheezy is the nickname that Claremont refers to as Louise Simonson. They're very good friends. Even to this day, they're very close. I've been a big fan of Louise Simonson, especially was able to meet her a few years ago at Terrificon, and learning how much she was involved with so many of the books that I love, especially the X-Men run. So just cool to like have her as part of this too. I thought that was a lot of fun.
For sure. Eric, what are your thoughts on girls' night, ladies' night?
Yeah, I think one of the first things that stood out to me, because I'm reading the floppy, so I got this nice big print of this image.
I can blow that up for you if you want. There you
and it's like, so you can really look at it, and
for sure.
I mean, the almost photorealistic of the front figures just blow me away. And I know that's his style type of thing. And I think it's cool, but it's like, poor Rain, if you know Rain, she's like, the oddball out and all this, feeling so uncomfortable. And then I like this little, it's like a slice of time. I mean, granted, this is what, 84 this came out.
Yeah.
But I see the boom box. I was like, cool, that's cool. I remember those. And the posters, was it Michael Jackson and the Police?
Oh yeah, those are coming up. Yep.
You can't get any more timestamp than that. But yeah, it's just like it's like a fun time. They're having a ball. I see popcorn flying all over the place. That's an 80s kids party, right? They're just going wild.
Yep. Well said. Absolutely. Yes, well, let's get deeper into the party. We still have Danny. She's in her wheelchair. She's a little frustrated because she would love to participate, but the healing is a slow process, so she's just kind of grousing. The other girls are having fun, but we get some gossip. Some of the other ladies that they've invited to this, they're not sure about this school. They've heard rumors. They're not really close friends with our characters, but certainly know them well enough to come to the party. But there's definitely a lot of like, let's see what this party's all about. Let's see who these kids really are. And you've even got Lockheed the Dragon sitting upstairs, sort of peeking out, listening, giggling at the awkwardness of these young gals all together. Meanwhile, in outer space, we get a little glimpse of Asteroid M and Magneto living his life in isolation. And his alarms go off because there's some kind of meteor or some kind of energy beam, whatever, flying at Asteroid M. And before he can do much of trying to protect Asteroid M, a bright light strikes it. So we've got kind of a jump away from the party for a brief second, but I'm going to throw it to you, Erica. What were your thoughts on the girls and how they're handling this party and some of the gossip going on? Or if you want to talk Magneto, we can get into Mags.
I thought it was funny because the girls are being girls. It's just like, okay, that's kind of what happens. But yeah, and then, Lockheed up there, it's cool seeing Lockheed. You don't see him enough in comics now, but back then, he wasn't just the pet. He was actually a character that they used a lot, which was cool. But yeah, the Magneto thing, at first, before I started reading it, just quick glance at it, I didn't know it was Magneto, to tell you the truth. Because you're just, panning, and it's like, what's this? What's going on? So it definitely is one of those things that it's enough to get you intrigued, right? You're like, okay, what's going on? Makes you want to flip that page right away, and forget about the girls doing girl stuff and all that. So yeah, I was super excited to see what happens next. Is definitely a page turner moment.
Yeah. Now, Justin, I totally agree with Eric. If you were skimming this the first time through, that the color work is so striking, you would not notice that was Magneto. If you didn't read every little panel, how did you handle seeing the 3-panel cameo of Magneto?
Yeah, and I mean, if it didn't say it there, I definitely might have questioned it as well, as far as who he was. But yeah, I like that they. I mean, again, this is Claremont, sprinkling seeds and answering some of the questions from 18 when we saw Warlock kind of take off to begin with, and so this is just them, and even if you didn't get it right away, we get it down the road in this issue where it's like, oh, it was more of that, just Warlock kind of swooshing through space. So I think it's a great way to just kind of include him, kind of remind you where Magneto is at this time, and then move on to the story. So I think that's great. Anytime Lockheed is in a story, I'm all about it. Love that he gets his part in this book. And then like I've always said, like these scenes, just the team getting along with others, or in this case, making new friends. I love this aspect of the New Mutants, or just mutants in general, getting to know each other more. And in this case, they are still they're kids, right? So they're still trying to fit in. They're still trying to look normal in the sense of like, hey, we can have friends, we can party, we
don't want to be geeks.
Yeah, like we can still have a good time, and so it is interesting because I am curious, like, of this time period, what would they have been doing otherwise? This makes sense, complete sense, and something that I'd want to see in a book like this to just show, again, they're not saving the world right now, they're just having fun.
Which I think you've commented on before, that for the most part, the downtime issues are some of your all-time favorites, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
slice of life, basically, right?
Yes,
totally.
Yep.
And to Bobby's question or point, like, Professor Xavier not around, right? He told the ladies that they could have some friends over. Maybe they're pushing the limits of that, how many and what that party looks like. I don't think Xavier was clear enough with them. And would I let my kids do that?
It's the 80s, John. It's the 80s.
I probably would if I knew. The more I know about Xavier's Mansion, I'd be like, go. Where's my invite? I want to go too. That's what I'm all about. Sorry, I missed Alan. Alan is in the chat. Our friend Climbing Comics. Miss you, brother.
Alan.
I hope things are going well. I know you've been traveling a ton, taking your comic books out in the world. It's very exciting to see. I appreciate you, my man. So let's continue on a little bit here. Yeah, we see the destruction of Asteroid M. We get the explosion, and we realize that it's Warlock blasting through and falling down to Earth, trying to control the trajectory. Not doing a very good job. Then we jump to the party, and we've got all the girls talking about which dream boats they like the most. You get a little panel there across of Magnum. You get your Tom Selleck, you get your John Travolta, you get your Michael Jackson, you get your what's his name, the British singer, White Wedding. It's White Wedding.
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. Thank you. Yeah. And then you get one girl deciding to do her best Michael Jackson impression, and a lot of this fun, like, girl talk, crush talk stuff going on. But some joking leaves Amara a little uneasy. And of course, we see that she's still having issues controlling her power, and a light earthquake tremor kind of goes off. And as a result, everybody's kind of like, what's going on here? It's a little strange. And then the girls realize, no. She realizes, like, I can control this. It gets a little better. And they recognize one person not really enjoying the party, off by herself, clutching her knees in the fetal position. They're like, we need to do something about rain here. So I know, Eric, you mentioned earlier the Dreamboat panel there. What are your thoughts on the 80s Dreamboats?
I don't think that's Tom Selleck. Is that John? That looks a little bit.
It might be me. It might be
you. How did you go back in time and have Bill draw you?
I will take any comparison to Tom Selleck at any stage in his life, all the way.
I was going to say Ted Lasso, but that was
acceptable. I'll take that as well.
But yeah, this is just like kind of reinforces the kids being kids, right? They're kind of
totally
teasing each other, and there's always one that maybe takes it a little too serious, and yeah, and isn't Rain like a couple years younger?
Yeah, she's the youngest.
Yeah. So I mean,
Ileana, I think, is the oldest.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense that she feels uncomfortable. This is like the older girls' party, and it's like, what do I do? I mean,
right?
she probably at this time wants to go play her Atari 2600.
Yeah.
I muted myself. Justin, obviously a lot of good, unusual, fun, humorous artwork going on here. The different Bill Sienkiewicz maybe than we saw with some of the Demon Bear. What were your thoughts on some of these panels?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely a bit different. I mean, still, I feel like we get it with the Warlock scene and things like that. But yeah, man, I love. I'm just always loving this artwork. Everything pulls me in. I do like the little cameos that we get here, and the girls kind of geeking out about the different guys. And again, just little reminders of our characters and where they are mentally right now. Amara, you know, it just brings you back to like, oh yeah, Amara is technically from like a different time. She doesn't know these guys. She doesn't recognize anything like that. So for her, in a way, it makes her even more of an outcast to the rest of the girls right away. And in a way, it kind of takes a little bit of focus off of Rain for a second. And it's not until, you know, they compliment her on her earrings. And so, you know, they can kind of relate to her in other ways with the fashion and stuff like that. And then, like you said, now it's like, oh, but wait a second. We still have this kind of awkward moment with this other girl in the corner. So, yeah, I just like that we get these little reminders of kind of where they're at in their lives.
Sure. I mean, she's probably still crushing on Russell Crowe from Gladiator, right? That's probably.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
She likes the Nova Roma.
Oh yeah.
Bobby says, I told my folks I would spend the night with the Power Pack. That's how I got into the party.
Nice.
I agree, Candace. When I saw the celebrity panel, I giggled.
Again, it's a time slice, right? It's just that little time slice.
Right. Hall says, evening all, good to see you, sir. Yeah, let's rate those 80s hunks, right?
That's right.
Appreciate you, sir. Yes, the Hawaiian Selleck shirt, right? You gotta have it. Yeah, that's, you better believe that's John Travolta. Are you kidding me? That's a Staying Alive John Travolta right there. He's got the like unitard look going.
Yeah,
I will say for a split second when I first turned the page and saw this, I thought it was Seinfeld for like 1 second, for like a half of a second.
That show's not that old.
Yeah.
Another of my moderators, Christina Payne, is in the chat. Thank you, Christina. Good to see you. To my younger self, the art was a little disturbing. It took me a little while for my eyes to adjust. It actually gives me, and maybe I'm the only person that remembers Bloom County, you know, Berkeley breathed. There's definitely some Bloom County style to some of this that like definitely clicks with me. And right now, it's an old comic strip. It's an old comic, old by 80s, whatever. Christina's dropping the links for our channel members. So for those that want to follow Eric, the SideQuest YouTube link is right there. Nice. And the No Good Comics YouTube link is right there. So thank you, Christina. I appreciate
Thanks, Christina.
And let's continue ourselves along. What is it they're going to do to Rain? It's makeover time. We're gonna grab her and freak her out, but then they had to like settle her hand. You know, Danny's like, no, it's not bad. They're just gonna put makeup on you, which it could have gone either way. This really could have been like a really bad moment where they all it just goes wild when they're trying to put makeup on a furry character. But no, they talk her down and they'll be like, despite that really creepy Ilyana with holding up the lipstick, this is going to go somewhere.
With the hair, the bangs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They all have to have the bangs, right? The cut right there. Meanwhile, what are the boys doing? Right. Because this is definitely all girls all the time, but the boys are like out taking a snowy walk along the lake. They apparently went and saw a baseball game and they're chatting a little bit about things as they walk back. And Bobby decides, I'm going to use a tree trunk and a boulder and I'm going to knock this thing into the other stratosphere. And quickly Sam realizes, no, this is dangerous. That's going to land on somebody's house. So he flies up and blasts it out of the air. But they're having their own, machismo night as they're strolling along, Justin. So you get girls' night that could go wrong and boys' night that could go wrong. What's that? What are your thoughts here, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that those guys should never be left alone. Like they themselves should just never be left alone. I love that to this, we're always kind of like pointing out where they're just, they're jumping the gun, they're attacking when they shouldn't, they're doing, all this. And then even when they're goofing around, like, yeah, technically what Bobby did, come on, Bobby, you could seriously hurt somebody.
Not really thinking that through all the way.
Yeah. Good thing Sam was, kind of on his feet there and did what he did.
Ready for it.
And then, so as far as this side of things go with Rain, I find it very interesting that the girls have this party, but they know that they got to keep it a secret that they're mutants. And so they need to play it cool at the same time. And they're kids, they're teens. So like, I totally get this, Rain kind of getting ready to, transform, or even the pages before with Amara using her abilities. It's a bit risky. I am a little surprised that this really did go down in that sense, because at the end of the day,
Amara could have had an earthquake 2 seconds ago, and now they could have had a werewolf in the living room.
Yeah,
It could go a lot of ways.
One completely, fall on fire, and the other one complete werewolf. So, she's able to, control it, which is great. And I think, Danny kind of talking her down a little and helping her. So, some good team effort, but it's all good fun, but it's just this whole issue. It's just them trying to be,
it's a totally 80s Michael J. Fox movie.
Yes, yeah,
Teen Wolf. Yes,
it's Teen Wolf. I mean, there's some kind of shenanigans going on. It's like, well, we got to be careful we don't get found out.
But Eric also got some interesting artwork, I thought, here with the way they do Sam's blast, the way they do the faces with the girls. What are your thoughts on some of what Bill S. is doing here?
I mean, I love this moment with the boys. It's like boys bonding moment. They're being boys. They're being, like we said, he's not thinking it through, and that's what kids do. They act impulsively. It's just they happen to have superpowers, so it's a little bit more important to think about. But it's like you see kind of the chaos of the girls, but it's girls having fun. And Ileana, she looks a little spooky there, and I don't know if it's a haircut or if it's kind of like the lighting.
I was going to say that under lighting,
other lighting, and I thought it was interesting that he put circles around the lipstick and then Rain's lips to just draw your attention to that. And
very different.
It really changes, it from being just another portrait frame.
I love it.
Yep.
But yeah, I love
that. I love highlighting that stuff, because I think there's, even in the Demon Bear, he had all these kind of fun little details like that, whether it's the little map that was slowly turning black with the demon's energy. There's that. He does a lot of really interesting artistic choices.
Yeah, and I like that it's like we see Sam with his full powers. It's really neat to see him with that, almost like a glow about him, because a lot of times it's just like from his waist down, it just looks like a rocket. So seeing it in this kind of sense, it kind of has more energy to it, I think.
Good point. One other thing I wanted to throw in there too, John. Chet's not here right now, but he'll watch this later. But just in case he missed it, we do have a Yankee fan in Sam Guthrie there, rocking the Yankees hat, because that's where they're coming back from, a Yankees game. So
even I think Bobby says something like, "Oh, you could be a Mets fan."
You could be, you can root for the
and
Mets.
Sam's like, "Nah, heck out of here! This is that's boring."
Yeah.
Halia says, every sleepover I was at, the first one to fall asleep, I'd wake up to find my bra in the freezer. Been there. And yes, the Sienkiewicz, obviously the artwork has been really impressive, and it's something different, which has been exciting. So then Bobby comes back down, Sam comes back down to talk to Roberto, and they're basically discussing dads, and in both cases, whether in Sam's case losing a dad, or Roberto's case a real strong disconnect that's happened with his father, they're sort of consoling each other and having a little conversation to try to like connect. And then up on the hill, they notice the girls are having a blast. They hear music, they see lights, so they're like, let's just knock and see what's going on. Open the door, and it's Rain, and Sam does not recognize her. He does not, with all the makeup and the hair and the costume and the whole thing. He's just like, hey, can we talk to the girls? We have some friends that are in there. And that does not go over with Rain. She wolfs out, punches him, I thought in the nuts, but I guess it was in the gut. She gets him good, slams the door on poor Sam, who's just left wondering, like, wait, what happened? Then the girls immediately go into telling creepy campfire stories. I think it's Eric's turn to go first this time. Eric, I thought this was hilarious.
I mean, at first, you talk about it starts getting really deep. There's some deep things that the two boys were talking about, and then it's like, Sam, you big dope. That's Rachel.
I mean,
at first I'm like, it's Rachel. That's why I didn't recognize her.
I mean, it's too many redheads, right? Yeah. He doesn't realize that it's Rain. He thinks, who else could have? Who else?
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't put it past her to do a nut shot, really. I mean, she didn't play.
Fair, right?
But yeah, it was a nice way to kind of break up that heavy moment. Them talking about their dads, to kind of throw in this. I guess you'd call it a comedy, mistaken identity type of thing.
Yeah.
So
No, it was a nice moment, I thought, for sure. Justin, any thoughts here on some of the drama and the comedy as this the team is unwinding a little here?
Yeah, so I want to comment on the artwork here, especially these two panels right here, Bobby and Sam, these close-ups, and really the emotion from it. Because as you mentioned, John, they are having a pretty heavy discussion about their fathers and kind of the situation that they have each, because they're very different. One is no longer alive. Sam's is no longer alive. Bobby's, on the other hand, is kind of a villain at this point. So it's almost like who has it worse, like it's and Sam very much is like, hey, at least your dad's alive. Maybe you guys can fix things down the road. But clearly Bobby's very affected still by just the outcome of his parents as a whole and the way he used to look at his father. So I do like these moments. Again, just learning more about these characters and the artwork to it just draws such a great emotion to it. And then it all kind of gets broken up by this scene of a gut shot by Rain. And I just thought this was so funny. I was not expecting it at all. I thought it was just a fun moment. Like I would love to bring this moment up to Claremont next time I meet him and just talk to him a little bit about it.
You got to keep a list of all the things you're going to talk to Claremont now.
Yes,
you got a long list going.
Right. Starting with how do you pronounce Chod.
I'm just gonna let that. We'll just chalk that up to history.
Yeah. I also like that little panel, the slam panel, as the door slams and he just drops to the ground, like
different,
clever, some clever kind of artwork there. And again, just some of the close-ups that they have overall. Even Bobby, even it's like from behind, like his back and everything, he's just like chill up against the wall, like dude, what happened, man? Kind of.
You dropped the ball. The ball.
Big time.
And I it's funny because it's nowadays you think of she's all that, oh now she's had the makeover walking down the stairs moment, and they totally subvert that here. It's very much like you just cut straight to the reveal, and it's so anticlimactic because he's just like, no, it's not her. I don't know who this person is.
I mean, he does say that who is this gal? She's gorgeous.
Yeah. In his head, we hear his thought, right? Which makes us feel bad for him a little bit. Big Nasty's heading out. Bye, Big Nasty. Have a good night, sir. Appreciate you. Let's see, anybody else jumping through the chat? Appreciate you guys all coming by. Chat on fire as always. But let's continue the creepy stories telling around the campfire. And somehow Lockheed is like, now he's like, I'm a headdress. I'm going to sit on her head and people will just think I'm a hat. And they're like, wow, that's really an interesting look. They're really playing fast and loose with their secret identities here. There's like, at some point people are going to be like, there's a dragon on this lady's head. That girl has hairy palms. There's earthquakes in New York. Like what is happening in this place here? But we'll skip all that.
Marcy is eating it up though. She's believing every minute of it.
Enjoying the stories. I get it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, what is more guy bonding than skinny dipping? That's what they decide to go do next. So now Sam,
I guess that's what they do in Kentucky.
I guess. So Sam's decided I'm going to skinny dip. That's how I'm going to soak the gut shot I took earlier. And they see a falling star. They see Warlock landing to Earth, right across the lake into the water. And Sam's like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to check it out. Plus, I've always wanted to use my powers underwater and see how that works. And it does work. He flies right over. He's protected from it so that the heat from the asteroid doesn't harm him. And he's able to grab it, push it up onto shore, and then talk to Roberto and be like, hey, kryptonite just fell from the stars. You know what we should do? Just put it in the mansion somewhere and we'll deal with it tomorrow. Good leadership all around. I like the thinking here. Roberto's like, yeah, I can carry it. It's just a rock. So he suits up, he lifts up, and then they just walk it in downstairs in the lab and drop it off. So lots of good thinking from everybody tonight. Don't you think, Eric?
Oh, the kids. They're kids. I mean, I love the artwork of Sam in the water and he's tearing through it, and it's really neat use of how to show him going through the water. I thought that was kind of neat. But just typical shenanigans. This is such an 80s movie to me of let's go in the water naked, nothing's gonna happen.
Bobby calls it 16 candles. He's like, he's getting 16 candles.
Yeah.
Ryan says, I hate when my hat poops on me. It's the worst. Hall Yaz heading out. Good night, Hall. Yeah, I appreciate you, sir.
Dude.
Yeah. It's like Joe Dirte. You got the hunks of poo in his hair. There you go. Justin, any thoughts on because this is not half naked moment we're gonna have here. We already had somebody dancing to Michael Jackson with their pants falling down. Now we got Sam Guthrie, and it's a trend. It's a trend.
It's all down. Yeah, it's all revealed tonight. Yeah, Sam, a lot of nudity for Sam in this book for sure. I want to comment on the artwork, especially of the girls up top here next to you, John. Again, the style is so good. It's so different and so just so good. So we love Bill. The whole hat. I mean, again, just going back to the girls trying to hide these things, it's not helping. You have this dragon here, but Marcy's buying it. I would love to see Bill Sienkiewicz, if he hasn't already, do something with drawing Namor. All these water scenes, and I've been on a Namor kick recently. It would be extra cool to just see Namor drawn as underwater as from Bill. So to Eric's point, these the artwork on some of these, and this is a full page, this center page.
Yeah, for sure.
It's laid out. It's gorgeous. So
it's really like 3-4 panels, and it's all kind of like woven together.
Meshed, with the water and everything.
Yeah.
And then I also love Bobby. The shadow of Bobby holding up the rock, just like one arm straight up. In that far panel there. It just looks awesome. Like I'll have to put that on my story.
Super casual.
Yeah, super. That's what it is.
It's not like anybody's going to be partying nearby that could look out the window and see him.
And exactly. And then, they have no idea what this is, but they're like,
But that'll happen later. Girls will finally look out the window.
Oh, that will happen later. Yeah.
Ryan is naming this issue the Nude Mutants. So there you go. I like that.
There it is.
I'm gonna store that for later, Ryan.
There you go.
And cannonballs. There you go. I appreciate the chat is really on fire.
Always chat is never listening.
Of course, and immediately after the boys leave, Warlock wakes up. He's just like, I'm hungry. I don't know where I am. I need food. I need sustenance. I sense energy sources around me. That's why I chose this location. And he just sort of like starts seeking things out. We can hear his thoughts, of course, but at this point, it's very literally, figuratively alien to anything around him. He finds energy from the electrical socket. He sees lamps and things like that. And he's just trying to assimilate information as he's going along here. So Justin, obviously we're getting our first like real connection to Warlock here with this splash, if you will, page here. What are some of your thoughts on seeing him in action?
Yeah, this was awesome. I love this. Again, another splash page that we get in the middle of the book. And if you look closely, like the eye being kind of crooked, the mouth is like why, like it just gives you so many different thoughts as to like what Warlock sounds like, what he looks like, what, like if you were in the room with him, like would you be terrified, would you be confused? Like there's so many like just reactions that you can get just from this one page right here by itself. So I just love all that, plus just the way he talks. It can definitely throw you off, and just very much just robotic. I kind of, not that he is, but I kind of think of like Data from Star Trek, like just kind of again very different, but like just in the sense of and as we get more into the character of Warlock, but just like the robotic side of him is really cool. And then just starting to see him look for plugs and things like that, and gain his power. Definitely curious to see where this goes, but this is a good first real close look at Warlock.
Right. I agree, Ryan. I'm sure that's how you look first thing in the morning, the hair and everything.
I woke up like this.
Eric, you held up that splash page. If you want that, the detailed color work on that is really strong.
Yeah, it's a very different imagery. It's not as precise and bright and bold in the old print format. But it's just like he kind of reminds me of, he's a Terminator on acid. Is what he is. Sure. And it's just, it blows your mind. I mean, you got to keep in mind this is an alien robotic humanoid that doesn't know how to really talk, so we're getting kind of like broken thoughts and emotions. And like on the next page when he's looking, I thought it was cool how we get to see the two middle panels that it's like normal view, and then like almost like he switches into like an energy seeking mode type of thing.
Good call.
He's like the Predator. He's
he's like a little view. But then I think the bottom panel is one of the first times, and they did this a lot with Warlock, where it wasn't a word or anything, but it was like some kind of emoji of like how he's feeling or emotion. Like, he's it's a sun. He's feeling energy type of thing, or he's happy type of thing. So sometimes they put a big smile or something instead of a word, and it's just kind of his is very unique for Warlock.
Sure. No, I totally agree. I'd love it. People saying that he sounds like the paperclip from Windows 98. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. Justin doesn't know what that is.
Yeah. Well, what is Windows 98?
But yeah, he connects to all the electricity in the mansion, and instant power outage for the rest of the mansion. He gets like overload, but he is definitely getting his energy back a little bit. The girls, meanwhile, are like, no, this is just kind of fun. We're telling ghost stories, and even Rain is like, oh, I'll make a little ghost monster up here. Or sorry, not Rain, Danny. And Rain realizes what's up right away because of their connection and isn't scared by it. But Lockheed's like, nah, something's up. I'm out of here. You girls are killing it here. The vibe is off. So he takes off. Meanwhile, in the mansion, Warlock is trying to find more sustenance. He finds a plant, and when he absorbs it, it turns almost like him. It turns into sort of a synthetic machine as he takes in its energy. And then he finds a fridge and assumes that it's a living thing. And he's curious as to, I was like, it's clever that this living thing is storing nutrients inside of it. What a very clever machine. So he's sort of trying to relate to this world, being a sort of mix of synthetic and human, if you will. He is not able to differentiate our world, the machines and the living things. So for him, he's having a very difficult time managing all of these things. Justin, what were some of your thoughts on Warlock as he merges with our world a little?
Yeah, this was fantastic. I again, more with the artwork, especially this panel here. Thinking about what was going on through Bill's head. I know we talked about this last episode, but like
apparently a lot of drugs and divorce.
Yeah, right.
As I understood, like marital strife.
Yes. Just like from a creative standpoint, knowing that you just had the freedom to really just do whatever, because Warlock is this character that, well, one, this is such an early appearance. There is no real definition yet. And two, like it's accurate in itself. Like it's just like all over the place kind of thing. What you would expect of this alien robot type of vibe. So I think that was cool. And I'm curious, if how much fun he had with that, Bill.
Sure.
The other thing too, so I like these moments, Danny using her abilities, a reminder showing that she's, remember, Danny just came from this ruthless, beating from the demon bear these past 3 issues. So, we see her in the wheelchair, and she's certainly not up to speed yet, even though she was, touched by the healer, and she's in a much better condition than she probably would have been. But this is just a cool thing to kind of, she still has her powers. She still can kind of manipulate, different visuals to some degree. And I just love the little connection that her and Rain continue to have, playing with the Ouija board game and everything that they're doing. And for her to like kind of make that come alive. It would be really cool to have a friend like Danny as a kid back then when you're telling ghost stories and having Danny, be able to do that kind of
traumatize everybody.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He wants to make all these kids pee their pants.
And then on the far side, just love the refrigerator scene. Just him. I mean, that's me at 2 a.m. sometimes. I stumble across, you find food where you can, but just casual. I love it.
Eric, there's some really interesting uses of color here. We talked about lighting earlier. There's some great facial expressions. I feel like Bill is getting into something of a groove, at least with the emotional quality that he wants to deliver here.
Yeah, and I think it does a good reminder of the characters themselves, that Danny still is this fun character. She has kind of that spunk to her. She's goofing around, and Rain, her character, how she is young for one, and two, she has that religious background where, they're kind of reinforcing that, this kind of simple fun to her is kind of like, oh, this isn't quite right type of thing, but then is reassured by her good friends. So I like seeing that relationship, kind of them keep pushing that forward.
Sure.
And then I thought it was really interesting with Warlock changing the leaf almost to like a techno. He gives it a techno virus or something.
Exactly, which is a big thing in Mutants lore. Going forward.
And so I find it interesting to see. This is kind of one of the first times we see that.
Totally.
And him transforming that into a different form so he can consume it. I
Yeah.
thought that was a really neat thing.
Totally. Great point. Izzy versus in the chat. What's going on? Izzy? He's saying he'll see you at ZapCon. Apparently, he's going to ZapCon.
Oh yeah, nice, sweet. Yes, I met him there last year too. Nice, good stuff.
And he also said Danny apparently had a cameo in an episode of What If. I'm not up on the newest season of What If, so that's good to know though.
Nice, nice.
Moving along as we get more into this action, we've got Lockheed stumbling upon Warlock, and Warlock not sure, is this food? Is this a living thing? I don't know. Warlock's like, I'm having none of this. I am out of here. and we've yet again got the boys running out to check what's going on, and Sam still doesn't have pants. I don't know what's going on with that.
The boy don't like clothes.
Apparently, he's not having it. Ileana, on the other hand, is like, I heard some rumble going on. I'm going to call up the soul sword. I'm going to chop this thing in half, and we're going to get it going. Lockheed realizes this is not something that you really want to get involved in and pushes her out of the way. But her armor all of a sudden starts to appear. The armor we saw appear a little bit when she was fighting the demon bear.
Yes.
Ileana says, okay, clearly I need some assistance. So she summons a creature from the other side to come and fight with her. But instantly it gets absorbed by Warlock. He's like, food, yay. And turns it into basically a statue of a husk of what it was so that it can absorb the energy of it. And Ileana is like, oh, crap. This is bad news. We're in the middle of a slumber party, man. What the heck? Okay. Eric, what are your thoughts on how Ileana and Lockheed deal with this beast?
Well, I love it. Ileana just charging in there to battle. I mean, that's her character, right? She don't ask questions first, and then she just goes right in after it because she sees it as a threat, right? And I mean, just based on how Lockheed reacts, so she's kind of going along with him. He's a smart little dragon, but it's cool that we get to see more of her armor, and they still don't reveal too much about it, but just give you those little glimpses, a little bit more and a little bit more. So it's kind of neat. I kind of feel bad for the demon. He's like, he has to obey her to come and fight, and then he gets turned into a husk of a statue.
Yeah, he got one cameo in this book, and it was like 4 panels later he was dusted. Yeah, red shirt all the way. Justin, what are some of your thoughts on Ileana versus the monster here, or Warlock?
Yeah, definitely. Getting to see a little more action with the soul sword. I like that Lockheed is like, diving in. It's cool because, like, to me, Lockheed is like the babysitter of these kids. Like, I just feel like the one mature character in this whole book is Lockheed, right? And he's like, okay, guys, like, this is
Xavier left him in charge.
Yeah, kind of like he's kind of the leader here. But I love that one close up panel of Lockheed, like the dark shadows and the fire kind of coming out there.
Yeah.
So that looked really cool. And then I agree with you, Eric. Like, definitely feel bad for this demon. I mean, I know that it's a demon from Limbo, but like, still, like, demons have feelings too, right? I mean, they just kicked this, and thank goodness it was the demon. Like, if this was like Rain or something, like, at this point, Warlock doesn't know any better. He could have easily grabbed any of the kids, any of the girls, like the random kids that were there just for that life sustenance. So, like, in a way, like, good thing it was out of anybody, the demon. But at the same time, you're like, oh, poor demon,
Demons have feelings too, I think, is a book you need to write.
There you go. There you go. A t-shirt at minimum.
There you go. When in doubt, follow the dragon.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yes.
Robots can be friends, Ryan. I agree. Robots can be friends. So this time, when the robot comes for Ileana again, she's like, I'm out of here. So she makes a little circle for herself and vanishes away with Lockheed. The boys are left trying to figure out what is happening. We need to really get involved in this. Danny's like, guys, there's still like guests here. There's still a party going on. Like, you guys need to like chill this out a little. What's happening? Sam is feeling a ton of guilt because he's like, oh, the space rock is a monster and I brought it inside. Damn it. I suck at this job. A lot of emotional stakes for poor Sam here. And now Amara and Rain stumble upon the creature, and they're blasting it. So everybody is fighting. I don't know if the music is still happening downstairs, Justin, but I get the sense that they're all still George Michaeling and having a good time.
They're definitely doing their thing downstairs, the girls. To your point with Sam, like, well, first, yeah, like I do find it odd that he's still in the towel. Like, I would think by now, because they brought the thing inside, I would think like at least 30 minutes went by at this point.
No.
So you're in a towel, bare naked for over 30 minutes. Like,
he's still icing his nuts.
Yeah, maybe, but you could do that like with a shirt on or something. I don't know. Like,
and as a reminder, Rain is the one whose power leaves her naked, not you, Sam.
Right,
It's not a thing.
And even for someone like I mean, you know, I would think Bobby would say something at this point, like, bro, like, come on, I know we're boys and all, but like, you know, it's been 30 minutes, you know.
If you got time to sulk, you got time to dress.
Yeah. And so then on top of that, he's sitting here just beating himself up with the bad decisions that he's made, which I mean, I guess kind of rightfully so. I mean, with everything else going on. Right. But yeah, I love the what do they call them again? The different discs that she uses.
Yeah, that she creates, the teleportation discs.
Yeah, those are so cool. I love it kind of reminds me of Kitty Pryde, you know, the idea of like a you know, a body going through the floor or something like that. So I think that's really cool how that was kind of drawn up in some of these pages here. And then what was the other aspect? And I think that was it. I just wanted to comment on the Bobby thing.
Sure. JP says, "Oh, you brought the monster home."
Yeah,
that one panel of Sam, it just kind of reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite. I could just hear him go,
"Gosh!" Right?
Totally.
Eat your food. Yeah. Eric, any thoughts here on the team dealing with the alien that they brought home?
This is all starting to turn into a Three's Company episode where it's just, you know, a mistaken comedy situation, and it's just shenanigans and, you know, he said, she said type of thing, and by the end of it all, oh, that's what you really mean type of thing.
Yep.
So it's totally turning into that where everybody's just jumping to conclusions and, oh, let's battle the invader, and then poor Sam beating himself up.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. Bobby says, doesn't everyone have that friend that's comfortable walking around half naked?
Yeah,
Adam's answering for all of us. He says, nope, just you. Just you. So Amara and Sam now both trying to defeat the creature. Sam recognizing that his force field will protect him, but the second they crash into a tree, then it's absorbing this tree and absorbing energy from it. And Sam is like, "Oh, damn! This towel does not stay on easily."
He almost lost his towel.
It's the smallest freaking towel in the world. It's like a hand towel. Amara, on the other hand, looking just as scantily clad as she strolls in sultry wise and is like, "Let me blast this thing. If that didn't work, let me create a volcano and absorb it and crash it underneath the ground." She's pulling out all the stops and it's kind of like, "Look what I can do." And then it reaches up through the ground. Warlock grabs a hold of her with some kind of tentacle arm thing. And she screams out, "Roberto, no, the monster's touch is deadly." And then he says, my lady is mine." And he just grabs this Warlock arm and just shreds it, just rips it apart right there. Eric, that might be my favorite panel of the night. That's just awesome.
I mean, with that red behind him, and what a contrast with the black of, you know, his power coming off of him, and the red, and the red's just it emotes that emotion of, you know, it's pain and action and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he ain't playing. He's just ripping it. And that could be blood. We don't know. Alien blood or something, or pieces flying. Right. Yeah, he just goes to town on it. And it's kind of a little bit of a reminder of how powerful he is, really. Because, he goofs around a lot. But when it comes down to it, he's kind of got some untapped power there.
Absolutely. Justin, any thoughts here on the constant scantily clad nude mutants that we're dealing with tonight?
Yeah, we get a Amara booty shot. That's probably the closest thing you're going to get to, you know, sexy Amara in any sense, as, you know, it's always flames for her, right? So, the towel, Ryan, Magic Lasso, a hand towel is not a compliment.
It's not. It really is not a good look.
I do like seeing how Sam like tackles him in the panel right next to you, John. I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of a Goldberg spear there. If anybody watched the rest,
his eyes are popping out.
And just seeing. I do like seeing Amara kind of using some other. Getting creative, I guess, let's say that,
right?
As far as her powers go, and creating that molten lava underneath, which it did work. Warlock didn't see it coming, so at least worked enough to slow him down a little, you know. So.
Totally. And yeah, Conlon, I agree with that. The whole page is absolutely amazing. Some really great work happening here as we get into some action, and then of course once Roberto rips the piece apart, there's a giant, monstrous scream echoing around the place, which does not bother the people on the party. They're still dancing. They're having it. And Danny is just like, I'm the girl in the wheelchair. I'm just stuck here. She's like, now I know what Professor X feels like all the time. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. So she decides, I'm going to like crawl to help the team. And what do I find? Of course, I find the monster. And the monster is going to try to grab me. And all I can do is try to create a nightmare scenario for it. Clearly, it seems alive in some way. And she does. She manifests its father, Magus, and Magus. And it freaks out and sort of collapses, leaving Danny with Rain, who quickly turns into a dog, so that when the girls from the party show up, they're like, "Oh, your dog is so cute! It's so cute with the little bow in its hair. I love your dog. Can I pet it?" Kind of a moment, which made me giggle the most. I think in the whole issue was like, Rain probably is like, I'm not a cute dog. Like, back off. I thought that was a great moment. Justin, what are your thoughts on Danny and Rain trying to deal with Warlock?
Yeah, I mean, I love that. Again, a reminder that they have this rapport, this mental rapport to be able to communicate, and for Rain to be like, "Hey, this thing's got out of our hands. It's on its way to you." And Danny's just like, "I know, like it's here." Like it just shows up down at these bottom panels. She has to kind of think quickly on her feet. She's a little concerned because she doesn't know this thing's a machine. She doesn't know if her powers can necessarily work, but it turns out that it does. This is a big moment though overall, because it's Danny recognizing before anybody else of the team. Danny recognizes that this creature, this alien, has like a human side to it, has an emotion to it, and whoever this Magus, Father Magus, whatever those little pieces that she could quickly put together to recognize as, she's like, hey, wait a second, like, this alien is, feels fear in the same way that any of us do. So, let's pump the brakes a little, as she really does. And just in those little instances, put all the pieces together to realize that I don't think that this person is dangerous at all, that we need to like talk with them and they might need our help. And then she even goes on to say, like, Rain, remember, how you were when you first joined the team and you were kind of felt like you were an outcast and separated from everybody else and, not being understood, all that stuff like that. This is kind of that again. So, for her to then, it's just Danny being so good with being the adult of the group and just being aware of everything that's going on. So she's a quick learner and all that. And I love her for that as a leader for this team. So that's all great. And then, I feel bad for Rain. Rain in the past, she's been petted before and she hates that. So again, just like some more typical, these girls coming up saying how cute this doggy is, whatever, but she knows that there's more serious things going on right now. So she's got to let that go and she's got to go one or the other. So I love everything about this part of the story.
I love Bobby saying those girls' dresses are kind of old fat. Yeah, it's Pennsylvania Dutch. These girls are from they're from the Amish country coming up to visit. That's why they have no clue what's going on in this mansion. They're like, normal people are weird. Eric, what are your thoughts on Danny? Obviously, like, proving to be a little bit more of an effective leader than maybe we've seen from the other characters so far.
Yeah, she's a little more calm-headed when it comes to this kind of situation. And it's really cool that she's the one to discover that he's a sentient being. He's not like a robot that's been programmed and is just doing protocols or whatever like that, but he has feelings. He does fear something. And that she realizes that it needs help. It really probably needs help. So I think that's cool. And man, if I was Rain, I would have played that up. And I mean, if it was a male dog, you just go over there and, say your piece that way. But
oh my gosh. Sorry, Lasso saying this is a Jinkies moment for Velma there as she loses her glasses and stumbles from her wheelchair. I mean, I get it.
There you go.
And JP taking a shot at leader Sam. I'm not gonna abide by that. I'm just gonna keep going here. These girls are very much like, oh, where's the dog, what's going on, and they're like, oh my gosh, did a naked guy just fly by outside? What is happening? Was there booze in the jello shooter? Were we taking jello shots this whole time? Oh my gosh, what's this creepy giant monster in your foyer? No, it's a statue, I swear. lots of little moments where these girls, the party, as they're slowly dawning on them that maybe this isn't a normal school. And then the handsome young guy walks in carrying one of the other students, and they're like, oh, he's only got a small towel on. That's kind of interesting. The whole team now is basically trying to piece this together. They're like, this is really getting out of hands. This creature is dangerous. We need to figure out how to deal with it. So they're finally now all on a page together where they're like, we got to get into this and solve it, and these girls got to go back to dancing in the other room, Eric. So there's a lot for kids to juggle in one slumber party. Eric, what are your thoughts on how the team's doing now?
And no adult supervision anywhere in sight. Even Lockheed's gone.
Yeah.
It's typical, right? It's typical.
Yeah. I and this is kind of, it's like, okay, how do you distract the girls from town and deal with this stuff? And it's kind of still chaos a little bit. And I like laughed when girls pointing to him flying by the window.
Yep.
Man, oh man. So that's hilarious. Yeah, it's neat to see that progress is finally being made. They've calmed down. It's all right. We'll figure this out. But go turn on a new, Wham CD or something.
Put on a Magnum PI episode or something.
Yeah.
Let's you probably recorded one on your VHS, right? We got Ethan Abram in the chat. What's going on? He says this is his favorite New Mutant issue. Appreciate you, man, coming by and hanging with us. Justin, any thoughts here on the consistent nudity and the issues they're having with keeping this whole thing a secret from the normies?
It is funny that like Sam is on the far page. Sam is like really trying to have this like for real kind of moment, especially with Amara. He's like holding her and talking, but he's got this little towel on, and like it's just like the whole scene is just very like mixed, I definitely had it was cracking up with these, with the girls kind of looking out the window, seeing that. We even get the demon again, who they're freaked out by. These girls are like,
so good.
It's Frankenstein or whatever.
Yeah, Danny's like, no, it's a statue, I swear.
It's just a friendly statue. Like I'm curious if we ever see the statue again in other episodes or other issues.
It's not like the giant penny in Batman's cave or anything. It doesn't. As far as I know, it does not reappear from time to time.
That would be great. It would totally make sense. But yeah, I mean, we do see Sam kind of collecting the same thoughts as Danny, just on his own terms, and technically before Rain gets to him. So that's good to see. He's kind of that secondary leader in many ways. So I know we tease about him not always thinking, but he definitely he has empathy, and he's definitely trying to figure out the trueness of Warlock. So I like that he eventually got there. And then as far as the rest, Danny kind of having to remind Rain, like, hey, do what you're doing, like go tell the rest of the people this is important. And then they're off to go see Doug Ramsey.
I mean, so they do realize that maybe we need someone that can communicate with this creature, and they say, well, Doug's a mutant, and we could tell him he's a mutant and tell him that he has this power, and maybe he could help us. And so we jump to basically the danger room. And Warlock is tapping into all of these computer systems to try to regenerate energy after taking so many hits. And he's lost. He's really struggling to differentiate between a machine and a living organism here on Earth, and tries to communicate with the machines with blinking lights and it's got lights. I'll try to talk to it with lights. I don't know what these lights mean, but I can make lights. And then the humans are trying to talk to him, and he's like, I don't know what these, what the food is trying to tell me. He's like very confused about the whole thing. Meanwhile, Doug Ramsey is just like, guys, like I'm learning off panel that I'm a mutant and that you're all mutants, and I've now and that I need to like talk to an alien, and that there are aliens, and like all of this is happening off panel. This is a really crappy way. You could have just invited me to the slumber party. I would have come. Like I would have hung out with you guys. I didn't even get an invite, and now you're just throwing all this crap at me. So then he's like, all right, well, I'll see what I can do. See if I can use the computer and the danger room's hologram systems to try to like connect to the creature, and it works. Then the machine Warlock starts to tap into the holograms and starts to project his life story. And in this, we get a little monologuing, a little origin where we realize that No, this is from a life form from a far off world that evolved into a sort of, they say, synthesis of man and machine. And the babies were then mass produced on like an assembly line. I love that Rain says, "Oh, the poor wee lovely bairns." Had to really get that accent in there. And then apparently not so cute, because they learned that as they are born, it's almost like the father has to destroy the son, or the son has to destroy the father. It's this instant like battle between, like, only the strong survive, like a very apocalypse kind of way to live. And so we're seeing the trauma that is inherent in this civilization across the world. So a lot of some interesting things going on here, Erica.
Yeah.
Doug Ramsey carrying the load,
man. Doug got outed. He got done wrong.
So cold.
So cold. But I mean, he takes it with stride though, right? And he tries to help his friends. He said, we're going to talk about this later. And it's really neat to see this progression of Warlock. He's trying to communicate him. He's confused. And then we get this backstory, which is very original for this time period, to find out about this. And this is kind of it's like pre-programmed, and it's just this cycle. And this right here is like that little precursor of why he's different. He's considered a mutant in his world because he broke out of this programming. So,
right. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat to see his backstory.
Yeah. I love, Sam can't find a shirt, but he found some pants.
Finally.
I'm glad that he at least somebody gave him some gear to wear.
Uniform, but
And yes, JP, this is how Doug learns the truth. We don't get at that moment though. It happens apparently while Sam is flying him from the Hellfire Academy over. He learns it en route. If he's still a student there, I don't even know if he's a student there. They didn't really tell us that. Fable, station to you, sir. You've come just in time for some enjoyable comedy. I don't think they ever explained how Doug got out of Emma's academy. They didn't. But why would you leave the lingerie all day? So Justin, any thoughts here?
You got trapped in Victoria's Secret, would you leave?
Well, I was just gonna say he's like, I had to leave the Hellfire Academy because everyone was always walking around naked. And then he comes over today and he's like, God damn it, what the hell is happening here?
Poor Doug Ramsey.
Doug Ramsey's like, am I the prude? Is it is every mutant that I know just running around strutting their stuff? What is happening?
It's just it's the new thing, Doug. Come on.
He's like, Sam, you got time to tell me my entire life story, and then you can put on a shirt. It can happen. I've got a drawer like right there. I'll loan you a shirt. My shirt's too big. Look, it's hanging off of me.
He's taking his time.
Sorry, Justin. I think I asked you a question at some point. But
no,
forgot.
This is fantastic. You guys are spot on. Yeah, this is. I do feel that this was a little bit of a missed opportunity with Doug Ramsey's story.
Yes,
I feel like Doug is someone who, we've gotten sprinkles of throughout. Both the X-Men title with Kitty Pryde and in this series for New Mutants over the last, several, really the last year, if we were to put it together, with when these books were all coming out. So, and of course I know Doug from further on in the future. So like, I was excited to kind of see his origin and how Doug comes to really be. And I like Doug as a whole. So, to see this and just like like you mentioned, John, like off panel mentioning, essentially, like all you get is that one Bobby, mention, and then it immediately goes to the next page. So,
and his back is to us for that shot.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're seeing an emotional moment. All we get is the one little laugh moment where he's basically saying,
it's like laughed off. Yeah.
You guys had a day. I just flew over here. You guys are throwing some practical joke at me with like aliens, and you're having a slumber party that I wasn't invited to.
Yeah. So that was definitely a missed opportunity, but I am glad to see Doug is now caught up to speed. He is ready to do his thing, and I do find it interesting that he immediately, the way he like started was he just kind of started with the origin of life, which is like or life on Earth, which is like so interesting. Like I wonder what the thought process were. Like even looking at that one far panel in the top right hand corner, I don't fully know what that's supposed to be. Like it almost looks like a moon in the background with a plane and a male and a female walking, and there's like some trees in the background. Like,
that's life on Earth.
Maybe that is life on Earth. So I just found that interesting. And then as we get into more of the detail of kind of the whole background of Warlock. I find it really interesting. So
Eric, any thoughts here on why Doug Ramsey would be like, okay, I can come here where everybody's going to try to kill me, or I could go back to the lingerie academy. I don't. To JP's
like
point, why is he choosing wrong?
Yeah, it would be a simple decision, but he does take it in stride, though. I think it's kind of neat, and I think we got to remember too, the focus wasn't so much on Doug, because that does come later, but it's on Warlock, and this is just setting up that connection that he does develop with Warlock, and it goes for a long time.
Still going, yeah.
So I think that his day will come. So
well said.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, let's continue the origin story. We obviously see kind of what Eric was hinting at there. The idea that Warlock's like, I get it. I see what the culture's about. I'm not playing. And he just takes off. And we saw hints of that, obviously, in the previous cameo appearance or whatever. And he explains his whole life, and it definitely impacts Doug in a big way. And then Doug seems to be the one kind of trying to influence them on this concept that this is a living thing that is not necessarily trying intentionally to harm them. I got big ET vibes from a lot of this and had to throw some ET in there. And it hits Rain in a big way, right? She is instantly emotionally connected to it and saying, like, if we're not here to help this thing, then what the heck are we doing? Like, what's the point? And so she's unafraid. She goes moving forward. Sam tries to grab her, and she's like, no, I'm gonna hold this thing's hand. I'm gonna touch this thing, and makes a little bit of a moment, a little bit of a connection to it. And then it is able to connect to an outlet, and it almost is like it recognizes life and machine and can separate them in that little moment. I don't know. That's what I took away from it, Eric. I don't know how you read.
Yeah, and it's almost moment. That's what Doug kind of really helped establish, is that, you know, we're sentient beings like you, that we want to live, but then there's also, this is, by showing him how Earth is, basically,
right?
He kind of learns through those images from Doug that this is how it is. This is how there's that separation, whereas his planet, they don't have that separation, so it was very confusing. And now it makes sense. So things calm down a little bit more, and that thing with Rain is really, really cool, because she has been persecuted herself, and grew up with that hatred type. Oh, very similar to Nightcrawler in a way, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then so she sees the similarity in that. It's like, I don't want to be the problem. I want to be the solution.
Totally. I love that. Justin, any thoughts here as we kind of feel like the team is getting to like the alien?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a big growing moment for everybody here. And, for Rain being the youngest out of the group to really step forward and say, hey, this is bigger than what you guys are treating it as. And this alien, this being needs our help, especially now knowing the background of what, Warlock is coming from. And really, again, I find it fascinating, like the other world and how he has to like battle his own dad. And that's just like how they do things there. Very, very strange. But they make great points of like, he's an outcast. And again, it was kind of mentioned earlier, just like with Danny, and just saying that, he's very much an outcast, very similar to how Rain felt, and really how all of them felt as they were outcasts at one point. So, I do get, Bobby and Sam in that one top corner, they're taking precaution because they really don't know, as she's about to kind of lock hands with Warlock. They don't know what could happen. Obviously, they don't want to lose their friend, but they're scared in that sense. So I think that's still very legit and understandable too. But yeah, Rain makes some really great points, and this is a very mature moment for her specifically.
Oh, totally.
So yeah, I'd love to see that. And then the connection after with his hand turning into a plug and all that stuff goes along really great. And again, we get those wild faces that Bill makes with Warlock, the black and white one in the corner there. I love that. So
totally. Well then, let's see how this all ends. Xavier comes home just in time, right in time to do something useful, which is to get upset that the house got trashed in this slumber party, and it's all just absolutely wild. And he's walking around thinking like, what is going on? Ilyana, you're covered in armor with the dragon. Where have you been this whole time? Ilyana's like, I got lost in the other world. I'm sorry, I just got back. And Xavier's like, this place is a trashed mess. And what is that? And it walks over and it's like holding out a hand. And Xavier's like, what is going on? And it can speak now. It sort of has communication. And Xavier's like, what happens if I touch this thing? Like, what space germs am I going to get? And then he's like, he does it. He reaches out, he shakes hands and makes first contact or whatever. Although technically this is fourth contact because Xavier's so late to the game. What are your thoughts here on Justin on Daddy coming home?
Yeah, like I just feel like he would be more aware, or he'd want to be more aware of like the goings ons, back at the mansion, especially knowing that the kids are home by themselves.
Well, they've made several comments in X-Men that he is psychically rapport connected to his team, his kids.
Right. Yeah,
he didn't seem to get any danger signs or warning screams or anything from tonight. Right? It was all just silent as the lamb.
So yeah, I don't know if he's just off his game. He's busy with Lilandra. I don't know, but yeah, to see him, kind of come home to this, I do like that, that by this time, because it kind of flashes forward a little bit. By this time, the kids have all established, like, yep, we're going to welcome Warlock with open arms, and the way they introduce him, to him is great. I think that on top of that, the fact that, Professor X, he has like doubt for a second, but he's like, no, like I need to be able to trust my students, and know that, to some degree, it's like lending them they're what's the word, like he's putting faith in his right. In his students in a sense. So I like that he kind of goes along with it and shaking hands with it. So this was a great way to kind of end this issue. I think just getting to we meet Warlock, we see the interactions between them, and then on top of that, being able to have this him joining the team essentially is what we're getting right. Warlock's now joining the team, and I'm sure we'll learn a lot more. But Professor X still just being, at least he didn't creep out the little girls that were there, this time around. They left.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, he does. So yeah, showing up a little late to the party, getting upset about them trashing everything. It's very much like, I mean, let's be honest, he needs time off. He's clearly home most of the time, just sitting around watching them so they don't trash the house. Eric, what are your thoughts on the return? I
totally got weird science vibes here, where the brother comes home after their big mega party and stuff, and it's just like, what the heck happened? But
isn't that Chet? Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, his brother Chet. And I find it weird that he's so hesitant about this alien life form and touching them when his girlfriend is an alien bird.
Yes, that's a crazy point.
I mean, come on,
got it,
Charles. But I do like that they do show him, showing faith in his students of making this decision and going with it, not being, the overly parent type of thing, or do this, don't do that, do this type of thing. He's letting them develop and make their own decisions. So it's very nice to see.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see, Xavier useful. That would be the first. Matt saying there's no volcano coming up out of the floor, and he's still upset about the place being trashed now. Like, good Lord. I'd be glad. The last time there was a car in the living room and a volcano as well. Oh God, yeah. He seemed to be pretty cool about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's technically how it ends, but they do give us these, and I'm actually curious, Matt or Eric. I mean, are these in the issue as well?
I was wondering if you had those. Yeah, I thought that was neat that they got them in here.
Yeah. So they give us like 3 different character profiles here at the end. You get Ilyana, you get Sam, and
the artwork in these is so cool.
Really great, really dynamic.
How smooth he is.
I mean, they don't even need Roberto using his powers. The other 2 are like all in costume and power, and Roberto's like, I'm wearing my nicest, and I'm the deepest of these all the way down to my belly button, and I got my coat slung over my shoulder. Like, I don't need costumes. I'm bringing sexy back. So Eric, what are your thoughts when you flip to these pages?
The cannonball one is really cool. I love seeing him go through that because he's nigh invulnerable right now. So
Right.
And he's got a shirt on.
I didn't know he was in Vietnam, though. I was unaware of that.
Yeah, it threw me. I'm like, but then I'm like, oh wait, is that?
Wait, he's way too young to have been.
Is that Wally jumping out?
Yes, yeah, the soldier robot. Yeah.
So I thought that was neat. This artwork is just phenomenal. I love the Liliana one. She's fighting a demon or something. Right. It looks like maybe it's a demon dog because there's a bowl of dog food.
It's coming out of the dog food. Yeah, I don't know. It's gone bad. Dog food's gone bad.
But yeah, it's very neat. I have to go back and look at the other issues. Maybe it was like this was the first ones they did.
It is. I think it's the first time they did it, and then there are more in later issues
because it's a neat profile. It's like if you're just jumping into the book, it's cool to read about the characters and kind of get some kind of attachment to them, and just the artwork in general really expresses their personality, especially the Sunspot. Come on. He's leaning against that brick wall. It's just like, what's up, girl? You know,
just doing it. Yeah. JP says Xavier sees an alien with boobies. Hello, nurse. Alien sees without boobies. I don't know it or want to touch it. Fair. That's fair. Bobby says you're never too young to have a Vietnam flashback. There you go. All right. Justin, any thoughts on these panels here at the end?
Yeah, I love this. I love that they did these. This was definitely not something I was expecting when I, was kind of looking ahead. I'm like, oh wait, I was like, is this the last issue? I was like, or last page? I was like, oh, we still got like 3 more pages. And yeah, just to kind of dive into each of these, I love that they each have their own colored background, their own scenery and situation altogether. It is funny to think like if there was like a photographer that was like speaking to each one individually, and they're like, okay, Sam, so I'm going to take this photo of you. It's for this magazine. What do you want it to be? And Sam's like, oh, I'm going to go through this helicopter. It's going to be cool. And then, Ileana's like, I don't got time for this. I need to kill this demon. Hold on, and he's taking pictures. And then like, Roberto, what about you? Sunspot, the almighty Sunspot. He's just like, hey bro, just me and my jacket, I just got back from H&M, like what
I'll pop a couple buttons. That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
Like the JC Penney's photo
yes,
shoot.
Yeah. So I love these so much. Like they really these all would be great posters.
That's what I'm thinking
individual. Too. And again, I love that each color backgrounds really do separate each page in a really nice way, and their stories that they're telling. And I noticed in the helicopter Dread 1 is written on there. I don't know if that's anything in particular, but I do like seeing that the robotic army dude kind of jumping out, and the demon
for sure
in Ileana's is just wicked. That's a really cool kind of style. So
I got our buddy Stu from Dr. Doom's fan club in the chat. What's up, Stu?
Stu.
Well, that wraps it all up. So it's time for Justin's favorite moment when he's got to give a score, give a grade for this book. We're doing a CGC scale, even if we're not so much into slabs. But so, Justin, how are we ranking issue 21?
Yeah, so a lot going on in this book, and for a double-sized issue especially. I mean, John, you said it in the very beginning. Like, I love the books that we get the side stories, or as Eric said, the slice of life kind of just development within these characters. For this book, and especially we get Warlock, we get the fact that Sam Guthrie's a Yankee fan. These are some important things in this book. I think that this easily is at least at minimum a 9.4, possibly a 9.6. I've been trying to, we just gave a bunch of 10s out, so I'm trying to like keep it under wraps here. So I'm going to go with a 9. Yeah, 9.4 white pages here with Bill Sienkiewicz just absolutely killing it. And these fantastic pages on extra that we get. There wasn't a dull moment. Like, I just loved everything about it. I like that. Any scenarios where we get a mutant, or in this case an alien, learning its powers, or the other team learning its powers and then accidentally fighting. Like, I know that this is like a trope that we get with a lot of our characters, but I just love these stories of these introductions to new characters, and especially they're a lot of them being just teens and still learning a lot about the world in general. So
absolutely.
It's just a cool mesh to always kind of see, and I love it. So I'm definitely gonna, again, this is a special book. I 18 through 21. I think these are all going to be books I'm just going to automatically be buying anytime I see them. So especially this one I got for $250 from Zap. So it's just
they're affordable prices too,
big time
for sure. Yeah. Eric, what about you? How would you score this issue?
It's hard to go with anything that Bill does below a 9, right? So I mean, I really agree with Justin on this one. I think I would do a 9.4 on this one also. I think the panel work wasn't as popping as like the previous issue, but it does have some really good panels, like whether it was like a portrait shot of somebody or just like, especially with Warlock. I mean, it is very new and original character. How do we draw this? And I think he pulls it off phenomenally. And just overall, the story of it's a typical, mistaken identity, mistaken situation. Things kind of get hairy, but in the end, calm heads kind of settle things down, and it all works out, and we get a new member of the team. So
Sure.
it's like, okay, where do we go now? So you're excited to find out more about Warlock, more how he interacts with our society, our world.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a good growth issue for the team. I mean, yeah, at first they're kind of doing their typical things, but they are kids. And I think Chris does a good job showing that they are just kids. They are going to do kind of dumb, impulsive things, but they're also young adults. So in the end, they're going to make the right decision. So,
right. Great comment. Well said. I'm right there with you guys. I think originally when I read it this time around, I was like a 9.0 in my head, and I think I'll land on a 9.2. My frustration was I felt like there's a lot that seems to happen like off screen, like off panel.
Oh, that's a great
that
point.
that could have I think bolstered the story a little bit, and as a result, it can be very choppy. Like jumping from bit to bit feels like there were pages missing, or there could have been more to kind of fill it out. But overall, yeah, this issue is funny. Like you don't get a ton of comedy in Claremont's era, and this issue has a lot of good humor. I would have loved to know a little bit more about who these kids were and how they knew our girls and where they came from, and some of that feels like it was missing. Like, how did they pick these kids? Like, where do these kids? These aren't just the same kids we've been meeting at the mall every single week.
That's true.
So there was just stuff like that I felt like would have, I think, made those moments with the girls funnier if we knew them, or at least were aware of, oh, they're from the private school, a couple miles away, and we've always wanted
the dance school with Stevie, right?
Right, yeah. So just those kinds of things, I think, would have bolstered it a little bit for me. But very entertaining, incredible artwork. I think downtime issues, to Justin's point, have always been a fun thing in the X universe, and this one's right there with it. Matt and Clemson joined up to the channel. He is now in the running for my giveaway on Saturday. I appreciate you, sir. Was there a bicycle bell? Did I hear a bicycle bell? So this is for you, Maddie, for joining up. Let's see. How about you watch my kids beat each other up? Here you go. Those are the moments, folks. Make sure you record those. Don't lose those. But appreciate you, Matt. And Saturday, I'll throw your name on the wheel when we're spinning to give away some fun comics.
Nice.
Let's move to the finance for this issue. This issue in a 9.8, currently the fair market value is $70, and I've got to go with some very confusing things that I've seen. Key Collector even says this is when Doug joins the team. I'm going to say hard pass on this. Yeah. I think Doug is asked to help the team until I see Doug getting a uniform and getting invited to stay at the mansion.
Yes, you are.
This is not Doug joining the team. So hard pass on this.
He's the guest walk-on role.
Right?
I agree.
Doug learns he's a mutant. I mean, I might allow that, but it doesn't happen in the book. So that's a tricky one to call as well.
Yeah, that is a tricky one.
Really tricky. They say that this is the issue where Illyana officially becomes magic and Danny becomes Mirage. I didn't see either of those things happening in this issue.
I'm so glad
they call Danny Mirage.
Right.
Yeah. I just am baffled by all of these things. So hard shots at CGC and the Key Collector app, because these are not accurate things about this issue. And that explains why the fans know this is just a $70 slab. This is not an expensive book. You shouldn't need to worry about it.
Right.
Other facts that are true, yes, Asteroid M gets totaled. That's fair. That's accurate.
Yeah.
First full appearance of Warlock, we can debate as much as we want. We saw his appearance, his name, and his maybe this was the second full appearance. You call it what you want. Key issue, obviously, and origin of Warlock. We do get his origin in this issue. So, any thoughts here on Justin on some of the facts or the pricing for this book?
Yeah, this is definitely the at least the second or third time that we've seen Warlock. So this is the first appearance of Warlock.
This is the Hulk 182.
Yes,
that nobody talks about.
Exactly. I definitely got him. I love that you pointed all this stuff out, John, because before we got on the show, I went and looked it up on Key Collector, and it was I'm like, wait, like Mirage? I was like concerned. I was like, did I miss something here? Because
I don't remember reading that anywhere.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Same thing with Magic, like not anything official. That threw me off. One thing I would add here is the mentioning of or the appearance of Louise Simonson. At least that Wheezy being thrown in there, as a friendly, obviously whatnot.
I would rather see that on the CGC slab than half of what they're giving me.
And would that technically be her second appearance? Or
who knows?
I'm accepting all of it.
Next time I meet Louise Simonson, I'm having her sign this book, and I'm asking her
see on that right on her picture, right?
Yep.
Right on her picture,
that'd be really cool. That splash page, that's
fantastic.
that spread page. So, $70. I mean, for an 9A, I mean, I'm sure
it's a great cover. So maybe in a nice slab,
right.
it would look nice.
It is a nice cover for that
right.
Point. So I would do $70 or something like that. For sure. There's
Eric,
not many
thoughts on. Only 54 on the census. Eric, any thoughts on collecting this in a slab versus a raw? I mean, obviously you've got a raw, I've got a raw, Justin's got a raw.
I think most of the New Mutants I think are okay to get raw. They have big key moments in it, but I don't think it's really a series to break the bank and kind of get crazy about, really, because so many of these issues, like this one too, they're fun books, they're fun reads. Now, when you get later in the run, of course, you got Cable and Deadpool. Yeah, I can understand that. Those are, big appearances. But for the most part, we're still in kind of that fun time of the New Mutants and figuring them out. And there's first appearances of Doug and Warlock and stuff, but they're not very big, impactful like appearances. So I think that's just, I don't know if that's something that we can look back on and see that, it was kind of a splash, but what did they do with it? It didn't blow up type of thing.
Sure.
So I think that we have that kind of thing to think about, but I don't think you need this as a slab, really. Out of the whole series, I think
I agree.
Number one, of course it's number one. And then the other ones I mentioned, the rest of them, just have fun with them, enjoy them, right?
If I could get this as a poster, I'd rather a big poster than having this just being encased or whatever.
Yeah,
that'd be cool, because I do love this cover. I would like to have it enlarged.
I agree with both you guys. That's a very good, fair way to look at it. I'm gonna stop sharing here, close that out, and I'm gonna say hello to was it Fable? Where's that? There, Fable now a member as well. Look at all the people joining tonight. I appreciate you guys.
Fable, good stuff.
Let's do some singing for you, because we had a party tonight. Let's do some. Where's my meat party? There it is. Here you go.
A me party.
You got Fable. You don't need it. It's one collection down. Appreciate you coming by, Fable. Appreciate you joining, and I will be adding you to the wheel that I spin on Saturday. Maybe you'll win that trade paperback of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, signed by Patrick Horvath, and some other goodies. So nice. Appreciate you, sir. But now we are on to the trivia portion of the show. This is where Justin and I are going to ask you some questions about last episode and the issues 19 and 20 that wrapped up the Demon Bear saga. And we're looking for a couple things from you. Firstly, we're looking for the first two people to get the answer correct. It's not a first to the answer. It's more like, do I know the answer, or do I see the answer and can I copy and paste it before anybody else? First two people that are correct get onto the winner's wheel. And then Eric is going to pick one of the wrong answers. He's going to choose one of the wrong answers that he likes the most and give away an entry to the wheel just for being entertaining. So that's the other shot you have here, a chance to entertain Eric and get on the wheel. So huge. Oh, Matt and Clemson's our first one dropping the line. I've appreciated how much that's been happening this year.
Yeah.
People doing a great job.
Shout out to Roy Kirk. We miss you, man.
Yes, Jackson, we've been missing you, sir. I know he's been catching some of the replays. I appreciate you coming back and checking in with us. We will hope to see you again soon, my guy.
For sure.
Justin, you want to kick us off with your first question?
Sure. Yeah. And so just a reminder, this is all for last episode, last 2 issues. We technically did 19 and 20. So these questions could cover those, both of those issues. My first question is, how did Magic protect Danny and the operating room when the doctors were performing surgery? Now, there's a certain, phrase or a couple of kind of descriptive words that I'm looking for. So just keep that in mind, but, put it out there the best you can. But how did Magic protect Danny and the operating room when the doctors were performing surgery on Danny? Remember, she was just rushed into the hospital. She had just gotten demolished by Demon Bear, almost every bone broken in her body type of deal. So really brutal scene coming in issue 19. But what was it that, as the battle continued, what did Magic do to protect Danny and the operating room for what was going on with the surgery and everything else? And yeah, so I'll be a little loose on this as far as the descriptive words here. I want to just give a minute or another minute.
Give it a shot.
Remember, we are looking for funny answers. So if you don't know, that's okay. You still can get your name on the board if you can make Eric laugh the hardest for incorrect answer. So what did Magic do to protect Danny and the operating room when the doctor was performing surgery?
The slap and ticket.
Classic.
Slap and ticket. A prayer circle. They got in, thoughts and prayers. They got in a little circle. Sent a little something. You invoked the name of Diana Ross.
There you go. There
it is. JP, this might be a little simplistic. She's magic. Was it like close-up magic? Misdirection.
Some street magic.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Asked her to draw a card while she was under anesthesia.
I am going to go with the first 2. Conlin, he said, or force field around it, and Matt and Clemson said force field. I will go with force field. Technically, they use the word protective ward or wards that was surrounding the operating room. So, she essentially cast a ward or a spell or a field, a force field. So, yeah, we'll give
that'll work. Yeah. She ran in circles around the room. Just, get your cardio in.
Yeah.
Eric, any of those that are the natural winner for you?
Yeah, I think I really like Candace's answer, the prayer circle, because I totally do not see her doing this.
Not likely.
Opposite of her personality.
Right.
Nice. Yep. Candace on the board.
All right. So my first question. When the team is at the hospital, Sam brings something that is useful to help the team. What is it that Sam brought to the hospital? So what is it that Sam is bringing for the team? Which, is a good moment for Sam. I think he's kind of doing. No, it wasn't a sandwich.
Eric, that was like such a great
Matt
intro.
And Clemson was right there with you. He says
he knows.
He knows. Yeah.
Orange whip. Right. Adam says no. He brought parking validation. Yeah, underappreciated. The guy that can do that, get you in where you need to go. Magnum PI VHS tapes.
Ooh, there you go.
He brought a 6-pack. Well, he did tonight. He definitely brought a 6-pack tonight, but not beer, just the one, just the ab. Back tonight. Rosko.
Nice.
Hand towels. just one. Just everybody had to use the one he was wearing. Just that one. So yeah, the correct answers have been dropped. I got Ryan Magic Lasso, who is dominating this game, by the way, way up in the stats here. Yeah. And Matt and Clemson, he brought their costumes, which he went into everybody's rooms, I guess, and got all of everybody's costumes and then brought them. So there you
Dumped
go.
him
That's
out.
why it took him so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lastly, we've got Candace saying a can of whoop ass. That's what he got. Any favorites in there, Eric? that
Man,
we
there's
like?
some good answers in here. Oh
Yep.
boy. I'm gonna have to go with ham sandwiches, though.
I was gonna say
that's
Matt
where
read
I
your
went.
mind.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
He kind of deserves
Playing
a
to the
little something
judge.
for that.
Playing to the
Had me
judge.
He
keyed in.
knew.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing there. All right, that's question 2. Question 3 is from Justin.
Yes. My other question is, what new ability does Magic discover during her battle with the demon bear? You know, we had this epic battle with this demon bear, and while Magic was kind of throwing down, she had discovered something new that she could do. So a new ability. What was that ability?
Oof, that was fast.
Oh yeah. Oh, my thing. Oh, there we go.
So
Yeah.
JP and
JP and
Conlon
Stevie,
like
yeah.
back to back.
Armor is correct. Armor's
So there
correct.
you go.
You know, for all this armor talk, you know, I'm almost like, how is she not armor? You know, the character,
Right? How did she not earn that name?
Yeah.
They just misspelled the word magic and gave it to her.
Right.
But she also learned that she's a Diana Ross lookalike. She
there
learned
you go.
that ability. A controller soul sword. So she had like a remote, like she was playing the video game.
Oh, that'd be cool. That's really cool.
The summoning, she could summon jars of honey.
It's so
So,
random.
Very, very useful in certain just
It's
related
so
occasions.
random.
Unlike Sam, she has the ability to think before she acts.
Ooh,
Oh,
Shots
fired.
fired.
damn.
Do a costume change faster than Kitty Pryde. That would
Ooh,
be incredibly.
That is like the Flash. Yeah, that is fast.
She got the ability to go on side quest.
Oh, Bobby.
Conlon saying she can now read at a 3rd grade level. Oh, poor girl.
These are great.
Lots
These are all
of
great.
shots taken. Lots of shots taken.
Yeah,
Any
there's
of those
lots
you like,
shots
Eric?
Here. Oh man. I don't know, just the idea of her summoning jars of honey.
Yeah, Adam. I love that you picked that, Eric. That was great.
Off the
So
beaten path.
random.
She just
Yeah.
needs some toast or
Yes.
English muffins or
Yeah,
something. Then
yeah.
that's the next.
Winnie the
trick,
Pooh
I
is
guess.
going to be pumped on that one.
It's a great
Yeah.
answer, Adam. Well done. Good pick, Eric.
All right. Okay. Last question about last week's 2 issues. We had some interesting characters guest cameo appearing in those issues, specifically a policeman and a nurse. What was the shocking end result for those 2 characters at the end of the Demon Bear saga? What was the shocking result for our police officer and the nurse? It's not good to be a red shirt in the X-Men universe. It's hard.
Some good.
Yeah, we did have Alfred Hitchcock.
So
That's
good-
true.
yeah,
he
as I
he
say.
did cameo.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very true.
That would have been a good question too. Yeah.
They became Native Americans, and technically, Colin's right. They were turned into Native, and then they were stayed Native American. I'll give Conlon and I'll give JP the points on that one.
Right.
That was a very
they're
weird plot point. I was just like, what?
Strange. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
bold choice there, Mr. Claremont. Yeah, they were now they're Native Americans.
And he
let's
still
see.
managed to get 10s out of us, John. I don't know.
I mean, right? I let it go. There were things I was willing to let go.
Same.
They were now Milli Vanilli. That's what it was. They became Milli Vanilli. Or no, they were the new village people. That's what it is. They became Chief fans.
Oh, the dark side.
Yes. The big plot twist was cultural appropriation. It's accurate, Adam. Very accurate, sir.
Adam
I
on
appreciate
fire.
you guys in the chat.
Yeah.
JP says they reported Xavier to child services. I
Oh,
knew you meant
no.
services. I knew you meant services. Somebody had to do it. I mean, it's bound to happen at some point. I read you, JP.
Yeah.
I read you.
Yeah.
Any of those winners for you, Eric?
Some good answers.
Well, I was gonna go with one answer, but I'm gonna go with Adams makes stuff up.
Oh, we got him again. Got him again.
Cultural
Yeah.
appropriations.
Yeah.
Well
Very
played,
smart.
sir. Well played, Mr. Adam.
Yep. Nice.
Eric, huge thank you, man, for joining us. I love all the insights, all the knowledge,
thank you.
all the joy for books, man. So grateful that you made the time, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of surreal for me because before I started my channel, I was watching you guys, and
That's right.
you guys inspired me. So it's always fun to come on and just have some fun and talk comics.
100%.
That's the best part about this stuff, man. For sure, nerding out and talking about the books for sure.
Yeah, and just not taking it seriously, right? Because that's what they
Having
are.
fun.
Right? Just have fun.
You gotta
They're
laugh.
funny books, yeah.
Gotta laugh. Yeah.
So as a reminder, the links for Eric are down below. His Instagram, his YouTube channel, it's all hooked up there for you, so you can easily subscribe over and be there for the next time he goes live or drops a video. We're on Justin's channel, as I almost said earlier. In 2 weeks, we're on Justin's channel.
February 11th, we'll be there.
Make sure you're subscribed over there. I'm taking next Tuesday off because it's my dad's birthday, and we're all going out to celebrate my dad's 81st, I think now 82nd.
Oh, awesome.
We're gonna be out, so I will not be able to go live next Tuesday.
And two things. One, for when we do go live again for February 11th, it's going to be for the New Mutants annual issue number 1. That's what we're breaking down next. So annual issue number 1 for New Mutants. That's the book to be ready for. So again, February 11th, and we'll have our guest, our good friend Chet I Knight, with us as a guest. The other thing too, as an additional plug for Eric, your channel, love that you have your channel. You've been going now strong, Eric. And I know we're going to be hanging out again this Sunday.
Yeah, this Sunday, you're going to be coming on for two-time.
That's right.
On the live channel. So there's only one other person that's come on more than once. So you're joining that
good company there. Yeah.
Well, now Justin's got to chase that person down. You don't get it. Justin's competitive.
But yeah, so you're going to come on. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be. I also have Ryan, Colossal Collector, coming on, and 22 is going to be joining us.
He's
too.
So great.
So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I always say shenanigans.
What time on Sunday?
Sunday, it's going to be what is that? I say 7 o'clock Central, so it's going to be 8 o'clock for you, Justin.
Yep, which is perfect. So looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, and we just have some fun, play a game, show some books that we got in the last month, and just have fun.
Yeah,
excellent.
And John, happy birthday to Pops, as Candace is shouting out again there.
Yes, thanks, Candace. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're gonna have some good times with Dad. Always, shenanigans.
That's what it's about, right?
Absolutely. Tomorrow night, I'm on JP Budget Collecting's channel. You've seen him in the chat. We're talking about 100 Bullets, the Vertigo series, and we're diving into the 3rd and 4th volumes in 100 Bullets, which is a series that when I got back into collecting in the Vertigo early, I guess mid Vertigo years, I was loving that series and really just devoured it like crazy. So it's fun to talk crime noir and hang out with JP. So that'll be me tomorrow night. Awesome. And then let's see what else is going on. I dropped a video on Dr. Doom today. So you got yesterday, so you guys can read up on what's coming, because the One World Under Doom is coming. The big event is coming here soon. Dr. Doom in the driver's seat for a big Marvel event. I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
So thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate all the folks hanging out in the chat all night and making us laugh and having a good time. And we will see you guys again in a couple weeks.
Yep. Later.